I guess we were not supposed to do that. Supposed to do them one at a time and then attach it.
Yeah.
It looked cool though.
All right, this is day 5 of the Martha's Vineyard build. We had just a few things left to do this morning when we started. Today, when time allowed, we were able to start installing windows and doors. And that is a multi-step process. So first we put the house wrap onto the building, and then we're able to weave in the sill pan, which is a detail that we like to incorporate with all of our windows and doors, where we put a piece of clapboard down on top of the windowsill or door threshold, and that creates a little bit of a pitch from inside to outside. So if any water ever leaks, that water will be directed out of the building. On top of the clapboard, we like to put a moisture barrier, and we use the Zip Tape's stretch tape, which is a very thick butyl tape that actually stretches, and it allows us to mold into the corners so we can transition with no seams going from the flat windowsill or threshold and then up the wall, to ensure that, again, if any water leaks into the window or door, it doesn't have the ability to sit on the door threshold or windowsill and cause it to rot over time. Then the window can actually be installed plumb level and square, and then we have to tape the window to the water-resistant barrier so there really are no seams. We don't want any water to be able to get in around the window and door openings. So on the docket, installing a bay window, and these are obviously more complicated than a typical window because we need to build a shelf that projects out from the wall on the outside of the building, and the top and bottom of that bay window need to be insulated to the same level as the walls and roof of the house. So we're building the shelf that the window sits on out of SIPs, and then we're putting a SIP roof on it. Certainly going to be an exciting project and a great look on the outside of the building. And then many odds and ends left, things that we sort of put on hold so that we could move the majority of the job forward. So we had to do a little bit of flooring detail around the staircase opening, a lot of cleanup both inside and outside. We make quite a mess as we're plowing through the job, trying to continue to make forward progress.
Yeah, you're trying to ramble a little bit.
We get asked a lot of questions about wiring and plumbing because we have perfect storm of bad conditions here. We build a timber frame and we enclose it with SIPs. So timber frames are notorious for having no cavities. There's no place to hide wiring and plumbing. And of course, the SIPs provide a solid wall. So you can't dig into that wall to install wiring and plumbing the way that you can in a stick-built house before the insulation goes into place. But we usually build in northern climates, so the plumbing would all want to be installed somewhere inside the building, not in an exterior wall. So the fact that we're building with SIPs doesn't really affect the plumbing. All of that stuff would get rooted in interior partitions and a wet wall and so on. The wiring is a different case though, because you want to install wiring in exterior walls. It's not affected by temperature. What we do in our typical package with the SIPs is we actually have the SIP manufacturer cut a 1.5-inch square void into the panels, and that void creates a grid work in the wall system that allows you to run wires vertically and horizontally. So every panel, which is 4 feet wide, has a vertical chase in it that runs all the way to the bottom of the panel. So from the basement you can drill through the rim board and into the SIP and run a wire feed up either to the first floor or second floor, and then 16 inches above the first floor and second floor we have a horizontal chase that is continuous all the way around the perimeter of the building. So once you get into that chase, you can snake wires both vertically and horizontally. We like to have electricians come out to the job site if they've never seen this before, because it's handy to understand what's inside the panel by watching the panels get installed. So as we're stringing the panels together, we're creating a conduit within the wall that the electrician can use to run their wires. What's a little bit different again about this system compared to stick-built is that it is typically easiest to do the wiring from outside the building, or certainly to locate the chases. So we leave the homeowner with a plan that shows where all of the vertical and horizontal chases are. They're easiest to locate outside the building because you can see the exterior of each individual SIP. Inside the building you see the gypsum, and the gypsum is offset from the SIP. Remember, we hung the gypsum independent of the SIP wall, so it's a little more difficult to find it inside. We actually recommend drilling all the way through the SIP from the exterior into the interior through the location of the wire chase. Then you can go inside the building, cut a hole for your first electrical box or electrical switch, for instance, and then start stringing wire from that location. So we did bring a fairly large crew to this job, a total of 7 people. I'm an extremely impatient person. Anyone that's ever worked with me can attest to that. So I would really always prefer to have a very large crew because it tends to make things move more quickly, and I always feel like we've accomplished a ton at the end of the day. We showed up to a blank foundation and we're leaving behind a 24 by 36 timber frame, a couple of covered entries, and a very happy customer. The crew that we brought here did not disappoint. We really accomplished a huge amount of work every day, a lot of material through the grinder mill, as we say. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that after we leave, there is still a lot of work to do. We're not doing any of the finished carpentry, we're not installing siding, we don't get involved with electrical, plumbing, interior partitions. We have a particular niche that we work in, and I like to call it the heavy lifting. So we put together this package that is basically leaves you with a waterproof structure that is lockable and buys you a little bit of time to align all of the rest of the subs and get them in here to do their work without worrying about anything getting damaged by wind, rain, theft.
Well, I just drove up after them only being here 5 days, and I am so amazed. Just the fact that it's a post and beam on the inside and you see all the posts and beams and the pegs and the braces and just all the woodwork and the ceiling is just unbelievable. It seems bigger, actually bigger from what I envisioned, which is great. So amazed to come and see everything that they've done every day, everything they've accomplished has just surpassed what I ever thought that could be done. And it's just such a house. It's just not the shell of a house. You go in and it's a house and you can envision everything and how it's going to be. But we took a lot of time in figuring it out, and it's exactly how I had it in my head. When I first started this project, I was actually going to have a general contractor come in and help me do the work. And as I was working more and more with Ethan and Shelter, and getting to know exactly what needed to be done, and then with Shelter just coming and having such a completed building, I felt that I just could do the rest on my own being a general contractor. I've called my plumbing and heating guy, I called my electric, I called the form guy, and then the next step on Monday I'll call the building inspector. So I'm just starting to get everybody lined up because now I've got the momentum to really push. You guys just rock. You guys are just unbelievable. I come in here, you guys are you're such a happy mood. It's just like, it's so great coming in and doing this, and I know just coming to an island of all things. We're gonna go to Martha's Vineyard in the height of the season, in COVID, and build a house. And they were just like, we're doing it, we're coming, we're doing it. We'll get everything lined up, just do it, you know. And they were very, very helpful, very professional, but very like family orientated about it. You know, you feel like you really know them and what they're doing, you know, and just having Ethan the whole time being my go-to guy. You know, it just really helped him helping me just navigate through everything and being very patient because everyone waited a long time for me to sell my house. And then the change of design, you know, and they were just so helpful. I couldn't have asked for a better company to build the house for me. If you really want to take on a project like this and build your dream home, do it. Do it. It's not as hard as you think. And I just think the owner being involved in the product from design all the way to finish, it really says something for the home that you're going to have, and it's just great having your hand in everything from picking out fixtures to picking out everything for the house. It's a great process, and it's not as painful as you would think it would be. And the biggest key is you have to be highly organized. You have to be able to accept mistakes that happen, delays. If you're forgiving, if you're understanding, the work gets done and it does follow through. But if you get upset about stuff, it's going to stop things or it's going to affect other people and how they want to deal with you in the work. So don't let anyone talk you out of it, because I had a lot of people talking me out of it to do this all on my own. And I would say just go for it. It's a great experience.
Thanks for watching. There's one more episode left in this series where I'll walk you through the finished house we just built, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to learn how you can build your own timber frame structure, check out the link below to our Purely Post and Beam online course. See you in the next video. Hey guys, here at the Shelter Institute, we've been teaching people to design and build their homes since 1974, and we've been building timber frames for about 40 years. We design and build timber frames, we sell fine woodworking tools, we teach house building classes of many different types. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, check us out in person here at our store in Woolwich, Maine, or online at shelterinstitute.com.